All right, we're on the third version of the Mobile X podcast. Joined with me today is Valley Flying and Reminex. We're going to be talking about the what did you call it, Reminex? The
Hero collector culture.
hero collector culture. And today we're going to be talking with special guest Valley Flying and Marvel Strike Force. And we're going to talk a lot about what's upcoming in Marvel Strike Force and telling you a recap of the last year. And then also we're going to be focused on kind of the current events of the game. How you doing, Valley Flying?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Recovering from a cold from this weekend a little bit, but other than that, good.
Should we start with the hot topic?
The trash.
Yeah, the hot topic.
Well, so just really quickly, this is the crossroads of gaming over here, Valley. So, obviously we were a little worried about you. I mean, the people the community was like phone a friend, please go check in on them.
Yeah. So I think what we want to talk about is, do you love red stars?
I don't think anybody loves Red Star. The whole system has been broken since day one. They've made two minor changes and they've got us the store, but I think it's time they need to overhaul this whole system because we've had many characters released since then, and it doesn't feel good. When you spend money to build these new characters and these new teams, and you can't even use them because they're not effective without these red stars, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah. What do you think, Rim? You've been upset with red stars at different points in the game, and I know it's real frustrating. I mean, there's nothing worse than pulling an elite minion with a 7, or something.
I have 7 elite 7 minions. I have 7 red star minions.
You gotta keep going. You need the whole collection, Reminex, to get all of them.
I'm almost there. I mean, how many more could there possibly be? And they're all as significantly useless as the others. But I think, and it comes down to a couple of things, and you said it right, nail on the head, was we've had minor reworks, and the when they were first brought to the game, they're worse than they were. But we
also had less characters too, right?
Yeah, but that's a really crappy measuring stick, right? We went from bad to mildly offensive to, I periodically flush when I get red stars, right? So I mean, Mobile, I watched your 6 red pulls. I part of me died.
Yeah, so I mean, I pulled my 6 reds. I pulled 2 6 reds yesterday. One of them was Wolverine, and the other one was Wolverine. I don't hate on Wolverine. I mean, I think Wolverine's okay.
3 months ago, you were kicking your green screen down, but now it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't a part, he's in a good team. I don't know if he needs the red stars or anything like that, but at least he's useful in that team. I think I would have got used to him out of the tower mode, which we're going to talk about next, is the tower mode. And then also, I pulled Aim Infector, which is probably the most, not even, I think that's the worst of the aim minions even. And so, it's frustrating. I had no expectations to get anything. And so I think that helped a little bit. So, let's talk about the tower mode. Tower mode was a new game mode that just came out, and we all got to play it last week. So let's start with Reminex. What did you think of the tower mode?
Yeah, so I mean, tower mode it felt like there was a lot of theory crafting. I almost got past the last boss, and with 3 different attempts on it, but I had to drop down. The RNG didn't go my way, and I felt a little RNG based. I think I could have done a little bit better. We built tools around it. We have a spreadsheet for the next time it happens. We're gonna have a Discord section, people sharing teams they built. So we're definitely gonna. I'm hoping they bring this back. I feel like they left some of the community out with it by not honoring new players or mid-range accounts, but they could set up a beginner tower or something like that. But Mobile said, what if I just want the beginner rewards and take my 24 million TCP in there and piss all over their Cheerios? And I'm like, all right, well, more power to you.
What did you think, Valley Flying, of the tower mode?
I liked it. And exactly what Reminex said, though. It is made for players towards the end game with rosters like ours. So we were the people that it's designed for. So I enjoyed it. I liked the theory crafting. I played all my battles manuals. So it took a lot of time, but I loved it. Every morning coming in, it's like, oh, this is my new battle. Who am I going to use to beat these teams once it got towards the end? But I think they can do a little bit more in future iterations to make it a better experience for mid-game players that don't have the larger rosters, maybe making the couple different versions, the easy, medium, hard, or maybe making some of the damage cumulative on some of the floors just for easy. But for me, for end-game players, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a fresh change, and it brought back some of these teams that I used to use all the time in Blitz Sim. I don't use them anymore, so it was good. I loved it.
Yeah, and I think that is the whole problem with the game mode is exactly what you both said right there, is that I think it was a good experience for some people. Like, it really was just for some people, and then there was other people that felt completely left out, and they're like, yeah, I made it to like floor 4, and that was that. And then there are the people who's like, man, I could barely make it to floor XYZ, and then they were done, and they were like, oh yeah, that was fun to watch you have fun playing it, but I didn't have any fun at all.
So some people got, and if we look at the end result was that if you didn't participate in it, there were still some decent rewards. And I think it was a good test, right? Like, So they're trying something new where there's more fun, right? It felt like they were trying, like they didn't put a lot of bells and whistles, like a lot of development costs, like build a whole new interface. They kind of said, all right, let's see what they think. Let's see if how the community responds. How can we make this better? How can we, how could we make it so that it's something that, that you're obviously going to get some learnings from it. And if they take these learnings and learn from it, I feel hopeful. But the other thing about it is we got gold at every level for participation. You got gold, and more gold was injected to the system. You got some gear injected to the system. And so it looks like something that they're taking a look at. So I like the fact they didn't commit to this is going to be something like RTA where it's here to stay. And you have to pay to access it, right? And really to participate in it, right? There's no battle pass attached to it.
There was no monetization on this at all, from what I can see. No direct monetization.
No direct monetization. Yeah. So the other thing I'm going to say this out loud is both of these modes are enticing you to build your roster and understand your roster better as we go towards Grand Tournament. And so I think that's a big thing that we have to start looking forward is taking that lens and looking down the lane at 3 things, right? What are the next raids going to look like? What is Grand Tournament going to demand from our rosters? And how do we prepare for the next meta that's coming out? And so I kind of have that lens. I think I figured something out. There's definitely an overarching thing with this, but I think this was like a prep for Grand Tournament. It was understanding the nuances of teams. We haven't broken apart like the teams and built them to the hybrids like we did with the tower mode. It definitely enticed you to kind of look and see how you can solve problems with your roster, which is really what Grand Tournament will be about.
Well, and I did an unofficial poll on whether or not people liked it, indifferent, or hated it. You know what I mean? Like I did it that way. And it was like 40% liked, 40% indifferent, 20% dislike. So I think overall that's like, like more than double the people liked it versus disliked it. And then a large chunk of the community was like, it was all right. It's fine. Like, meh, you know what I mean? And that just gives them an opportunity to do next time. Now, how are you going to feel about this game mode if it's like a character release and it completely replaces Blitz?
Let's don't say that too loud, right? Because we'll be talking about character releases. You want to talk about character releases right now? Because
why do that segues into the next thing. We're going to talk about character release methods, and then specifically Scarlett Spider is super stingy, right?
And Magic.
And Magic.
Two events in this patch, and we don't know what. I guess Spider-Punk is going to be like a normal event, so that's going to be generous. But we've got 2 stingy ones in Magic and Spider-Spunk, and we don't know T'Challa either. We still have T'Challa in this thing. So.
Yeah, we don't know how Cha-Cha's getting dropped on us, but probably something brand new. We don't know. What were the last Strike Pass characters we had? Cloak and Dagger, right?
Cloak or Dagger.
Oh, as far as release,
Cloak or Dagger. If you did it right, you got Cloak and Dagger, but it definitely was something that they had to revisit with compensation and all that stuff.
They were kind of blitzing release too, though.
Yeah, but they added
that was Cloak or Dagger on Blitz release also. It wasn't both.
Yeah, you got the Luminous
Dagger, right?
And the past, yeah.
So let's just have that conversation. The last 2 characters that were legendary were locked behind Strike Pass, right?
Yeah.
Omega Red with Polaris and Jubilee with Polaris and Omega Red with Captain Sam.
Well, let's break it down into more specific. Let's talk about Scarlet Spider and Magic specifically in this patch.
So Magic, what was the max you can get out of her? What was it, like 150?
Yeah.
All right, so not quite what we're used to for releases that are, like the Blitz event release. And then we got 100, it was like 135, 125 is what we're estimating with.
No, it's
126, I think.
Well,
No,
no, you get 50 plus 20 plus 55 for Scarlet Spider.
125.
I thought it was 51 plus 55 plus 20.
I think it's 51 mobile. I think there's 51 in the milestones.
51 in the milestones, and then you got.
That being said, we're fighting over one shard here, but realistically, I don't know. So, are we going to get? Do we get anything from like these orbs? Are we going to be able to do we get orb shards somewhere?
But it's worse than that. I mean, 50 from the first event, right? And then saying that there's another 55 and another 20 behind the pocket dimension. What if you don't have a Mega Red?
That's not for everybody.
That's not for everybody. Not everybody. Yeah, that's not even saying.
It's DD1. You guys know that this is DD1, right? Which is Red Stars.
Yeah, but new players don't have access to that.
Well, I mean, and so new players weren't always getting like through the Blitz rewards and all that stuff. So I think we take it for granted what was that. So let's just say that this, and there's no communication by which bothers me. They could just say, "Oh yeah, this is replacing Strike Pass. We're trying 2 new release methods." So the ultimate goal was to get more shards in the players without monetization with the Strike Pass, because people didn't like that. So Silver Samurai became the Strike Pass character. I don't know. I mean, is that what they're going for? But it just feels odd. There's like, is this the new normal? I don't know.
Yeah, and so but like if there was a group of people that is like, I want to get each character as cheaply as possible to 5 yellow stars. Every character, and then they're like, and they are saying, and they would spend a little bit. So these are like dolphins, maybe whales that would spend a little bit, because they don't want to get in a situation where they're gonna, the next legendary comes around and they're not gonna get, the next legendary character. And there's probably a number of free to play players in this category too, and they're telling me, yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some money now. Like, they changed the fundamental way that characters are being released, and if I want to get a 5-star character, through the initial release, specifically Scarlet Spider, it's just not happening. You know what I mean? You really have to spend.
Even Magic. I spent $50 on that character. I went hard on her event. Right now, she's sitting at 99 out of 130. Still not a 5-star character. Mm-hmm. That's not cool. I spent $50. In the past, we've got to 5 and higher when we spend that money. Now we're spending the money not even getting to 5. So if the rumors are true and Magic is a legendary unlocked character, I've spent the money on her. I'm still not going to be able to use her to unlock this next character. It's stingy. It's bad.
And I think that's the thing is I think the Strike Pass was the first fatal flaw in that argument, right? Because Polaris came out, and so the only time it was available was after they made her quote unquote doubtable, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's used in their own language. So I think that's fundamentally you hit the nail on the head. Is we don't know what to expect as players, and I think this is one thing that bothers me is they always try to keep us on our heels, and they definitely give us that FOMO and definitely surprise mechanics. And this is one of those things where we just don't know what to expect from this event. Is there a way to earn these Resolute orbs? Is there going to be, another way to earn magic shards? But at the end of the day, if there is a legendary unlock, they usually make them available before the legendary comes out. But that doesn't mean that everybody's going to have access to it. Because, if you look at where like Silver Captain Sam is and Silver Samurai, Captain Sam is versus other characters, they're not easily accessible.
Yeah, they're definitely pulling things back, and Scarlet Spider is probably the best example of that right now, where 51 from milestones, which most people were able to complete within the first day or two, and then Pocket Dimension. Let's talk about Pocket Dimension, and the rest of it is Pocket Dimension. You get 20 shards you get 1 for each level, right? So a total of 10 for the first one, 10 for the second one, second time completion, and then the second time completion bonus means that you get another 55. Remnant, you seem to think that it's going to be relatively easy. Now, keep in mind, it does work like Dark Dimension. Like you complete it in 4 days, right? Then you have to take a day off because there's a 24-hour cooldown between.
They built it on the framework of Dark Dimension 1.
It basically is Dark Dimension, right?
Yeah, so it's Dark Dimension 1. What they did was they took the characters and added red stars and added some unique abilities. If you look at some of the nodes, they might have evade, like a base evade rate. Like Ultron has a 40% evade rate at the last node. So you can see that there's definitely some differences in that regard. But do I think it's going to be overly difficult? I think obviously, we're kind of the test subjects here, especially with, if my roster can blow through it, will Valley's roster blow through it, will Goofy's roster blow through it, and, kind of.
Well, it's going to come down to Omega Red is going to be the haves and haves not.
I'm not going to use Omega Red. I'm going to go without it to really kind of put myself to the challenge, because I think I'm going to take the Omega Red challenge and see what to use, because Cersei's the centerpiece. So first things first.
Yeah, Cersei.
We're expecting it to have the Dark Dimension tag. So Cersei's going to have all her abilities in there, including her ability to flip debuffs, including her ability to, for death proof and all that fun stuff. So I think that if you have Cersei, you have the fundamental piece to build a team. And if you look at those characters, a lot of those characters Miles is probably worth upgrading now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After your first run, will you have enough to get Scarlett up? And the answer is probably yes. And he'll make that a bit easier.
Well, I think that conversation about Scarlett and Miles is that they are worth upgrading outside of the pocket dimension, which what we're going to talk about that here in a minute too, is the full Web Warriors team. But yeah, what do you think about all this, Valley?
Look, the Magic event, I thought it was good as an event. It was horrible as a character release event. These pocket dimensions, the Scarlet Spider event, it's great as an event. As a character release, the shards that they're giving out is bad. So these events, I like the things that they're doing. I just don't like the amount of shards and them using these new things as a character release method, because in the past we've gotten used to getting more shards when these characters are released. Now that we're getting less, it doesn't feel good.
And you have to work really hard too. Pocket Dimension is not going to be, this is a lot more work than just like showing up. You know what I mean? It's your Pocket Dimension is going to take some time.
Let me ask you guys a question. If it replaces Strike Pass, is it better or worse?
As far as Pocket Dimension replacing Strike Pass,
either one of these events, Magic or because I think this is important, because I think that's what they're trying to do, because obviously it's more friendly, because free to play only had 45 access to 45 of a character shard in the release when the character was locked at a Strike Pass, right?
I didn't like the Strike Pass.
Strike Pass lost me Vrondius, right? Vrondius quit because Strike Pass was the most obtuse release method, and it felt really bad. So if this is replacing Strike Pass, it's one of those situations, like I said earlier, it's just not as bad, right?
Well, that's almost like saying, do you want Avengers Tower to replace Blitz? Or do you like Avengers Tower more than Blitz? Blitz is terrible. Yes. You know what I mean? So, and then saying, do you like this better than Strike Pass? It's like, well, do you like, just because Strike Pass is terrible, just because Blitz is terrible, does not mean that this is better.
It's terrible. I think they're outdated. When I was first playing Blitz, it was fun using my teams, figuring out these teams. That's kind of how Blitz was in the beginning. It's become this auto fest now. That's kind of what I felt with Tower Mode. Some of these other, and raids, it's outdated. It's not fun. It's just all this outdated content. They need to keep doing things like Tower Mode, Pocket Dimensions, I feel, to give us new content. That's what's fun to play. Not grinding the same content over and over and over.
Oh yeah, I think all of this is better as far as that goes, right? Right, Rem?
Yeah. So I just don't know, and I don't think they're going to tell us, which is the problem. I think they're going to let us figure it out and see, like, if we ask for more. So if Magic is a legendary unlock, she'll be available at some point shortly before the legendary releases, we estimate, right? Because it hasn't always been the case.
Yeah, but maybe you get 10, 15 shards, maybe.
We don't know. That's it depends on where they become available, and then then the same thing with Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider is a raid character that's Web Warriors. They can't go the way they did with symbiotes, where they make it just impossible for people to get, and then have a new team that shows up.
Why can't they? That's been their MO since for a while now.
Why can't they? Because people are losing.
Call Obsidian over a year, not being able to complete Black Order for a lot of players. You know, they've done that in the past. I don't see them.
Yeah, but see, that. Black Order was kind of an arena meta, and they were kind of the best team on war offense and potentially war defense. But it wasn't like you couldn't raid, right? Imagine trying to do bio nodes. You have to build symbiotes knowing that you're wasting resources when the web warriors are doing things that full symbiotes can't accomplish.
Think about it. None of the Doom teams are none of the Doom raid teams are easy. Symbiotes, they're it's hard to get them. Mystic. You get the skill.
He's
hard to get. You get Doom for tech. Doc Ock is a legendary. You're the Axeman. You need a legendary Jubilee. None of these characters are easy to get. The Eternals. For the Mystic, they're not easy. They don't make these characters easy.
Well, Eternals are an afterthought of Mystic. I think Dagger and Cloak are more important.
They're not easy to get either.
Where are they? Why? So that's the whole entire point. Is at some point if they're pushing the raids as the progression level that we want to move, we did an interview with Jason Bender, and he said we wanted to gear more people towards the end game content, moving more of that dial over time. But if the characters themselves are inaccessible, then they aren't fulfilling that promise, in my opinion.
Yeah, some of the things he said in that interview doesn't jive with the actions that they've taken since then. He talked about how he doesn't like war release characters. What is the next team that we got right after that interview? The Dirty Heroes for Hire. So a lot of things he said in that interview didn't line up with their actions.
Just because he doesn't like them doesn't mean they don't make money. There's two different things.
All right, so. Right? Who are you going to be taking into Pocket Dimension? What team do you think is going to work the best for you?
Just looking at my roster is probably Miles, Scarlett, Cersei, Omega Red, and Shuri.
Okay, and what about you, Rim?
Yondu, Misty. I'm gonna play around with some of the non-traditional characters because I gotta get. If I do things so you don't have to, and I'm taking Omega Red, then that's not.
All right, so you said Yondu,
Groot,
Misty, Cersei. Go
Groot.
Run.
You should do Groot.
Groot's still G11, so just leave Groot there.
So who are you doing? Who's your 5?
Just basically, I'm going to keep filling it out. I'm going to keep testing out characters until I figure out which ones are probably the most value.
Yeah, and so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing Miles, Scarlett, Shuri, Omega Red, and Cersei. Just like same team as yours, Valley.
Best ones.
Because I see the value in Web Warriors, right? Web Warriors is a lot of value. And so let's talk about that, the value of Web Warriors. So we just got Spider-Punk 2 days ago. I saw a YouTube video with someone with a 538, and someone told me that they were able to do it with 443 one-shot Doom 2.0 bio boss node, right? Which is a big deal, right? And where people are telling me that barely 800K symbiotes could do the same thing. So we're seeing kind of like almost like 300K difference in power, right? And doing things that an 800, basically a 530K team is doing the same thing as an 800K team, right? That's what we're saying. So what's your thoughts about all that? What do you think, Ram?
Symbiotes were the best feeling in Marvel Strike Force ever, right? They were like this team. We had one raid team. Yeah, we had that one raid team. It was like we had ISOs came out and they were kind of fun and theory crafting. So
yeah,
they kind of were
like, October a year ago.
That October was like a benchmark of really good community. It was like a really fun aspect, and we taking on symbiotes and having them like figure out how to work on the raids. It was really fun aspect. So people have this like first love attachment to symbiotes. It's time to let go. Time to move on.
Okay.
There's something better out there. There's more fish in the sea, and they happen to be Web Warriors.
Okay, so that's all fine. My problem with that is that they're kind of garbagey outside of raids.
Yeah, have you fought them in war?
In the test server, and my Black Order ran over them.
Yeah, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it now.
Okay, I have to try it, but I haven't tried it. But Black Order didn't seem to struggle too hard with them.
Yeah, once you get the retaliate from Ghost Spider, and they have a lot of cool little abilities. So once the full 5 hit the table, they start getting offense up on evade outside of raids, and so when you fought them.
No, I'm talking. I taught them on the test server, so it was full.
Yeah. So what I'm telling you is they scale better than Black Order does.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
I fought 4 of them in a war. Okay, just the 4 of them, and I lost 2 Black Order members before I could flip. I won, but it was barely.
Yeah. What are you thinking about Web Warriors, Valley?
My question is, are they usable with low red stars? Because my characters have very low red stars. I don't have anything higher than a 5, and one of them has only 1 red star on them. But going back to what Remenek said about them being the best team, I mean, the symbiotes were already placed by the Axemen, because back when the Axemen released, we're in the Ultimus raids, and we could use whatever teams. So symbiotes already got replaced, and now then Doom, and then having the bio section, they've gotten their importance back. But yeah, I think they're better. The thing is, are they better considering the amount of resources that we have to invest in them? I've put a ton of silver and gold promotion credits already into my symbiotes. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the same if I want the Web Warriors. How much better are they considering the amount of investment I'm going to need in this team? The T4s, the gear, all that stuff. That's my question. Are they still going to be?
Are you ready? I'm about to blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm running like six. I'm running like 600K, and they're fine. Compared to my 600K compared to my 900K. You know what I mean? Like I had 900K symbiotes, and my 600 something K is doing better. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like it's, and I have a lot of them at 3 red stars, 3-4, 3-5, 4-4. I mean, I'm not, I'm not running them.
Give me a little more hope.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't have like 5-5s on all of them. I have like 4-4 on one of them and 3-5 on one of them. And then 5-5 on one of them. But then my 3-3 on one of them. But they're good, but yeah,
you're talking about 2.3 in Doom, right?
2.3, yeah.
Okay,
and Spider-Punk really just gives them the offense up that they need, because
offense up, death proof, because there's 5 on the table, and he also gives them offense up on evade. So he also gives them the high crit chance too.
So is his passive worth bringing over a highly built up symbiote Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Is in the 5th?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even if he dies, he's they're getting the crit percentage, which means they have that bonus crit damage from Scarlet Spider.
No, I can't tell you the number of times that my symbiote Spider-Man dies and the 4 carry it, right? And whether Spider-Punk is there or not, just his passive is all that they need. It really just his passive. Yeah,
my low red stars.
I was doing it with just a 4 at like 3 red star and 4 red star before I did a 7 red star opening. I was doing it with just 4. I didn't even use a 5th.
I'm comfortable with my 3-3. I think he's going to get deleted, but just him being there at the start of the battle is what's going to matter. Like, and so
it won't get deleted. He's trust. Okay, so I'm going to say this out loud, and you guys have probably both heard me talk about this, but remember how we were talking about trauma, and I kind of like projected this team was going to have trauma.
Yeah.
The next level of raids will probably feature either Eternals and or Dormammu. And so both of them are vulnerable to. I mean, you guys realize they built Silver Surfer for themselves. Silver Surfer is literally the gatekeeper of fucking content in these raids. They didn't build it for us. My fucking Silver Surfer never did.
Hey, Reb, you know the thing that's the only thing that's worse than Silver Surfer? 2 Silver Surfers.
Yeah, 2 Silver Surfers.
2 Silver Surfers.
2 Silver Surfers and 2 Black Bolts.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. What I'm telling you out loud is you can be damn sure we're going to see Eternals, and you're going to want trauma. And symbiotes don't bring trauma. Guess who brings trauma? Dormammu, Omega Red, and I don't know, the
Punk. The Punk.
Yeah, but so we're going to need a tech. So the next time we see a tech trauma, it's going to be a raid solution going forward. And the next time we see a
we have mutants.
A skill trauma, it'll be something going forward. So I think
to be clear, what you're talking about is that right now we have Doom raids. You're talking about someday later we're going to have Dormammu raids, right? That's what you're.
Or Omicron raids or some crap like that. Who knows? Next level Greek raids.
You know what? If it's hard, that's fine. If it's fun and hard, that is ideal, though.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is expect to see Eternals.
All right.
And this is the thing is when I sat down my ISO selection, I don't sit there and I go, oh yeah, this is definitely the ISO. I'm gonna write it on paper because I played the crap out in the test server for like 11 to 12 hours because I'm insane. Remember when ISOs came out? I didn't sleep. Valley was like, Rem, you're still up? You haven't slept yet. Why? I want to figure this ISO crap out. Like
for every single character in the game. I
did it. I was insane. Whatever you want. I spent $4,000 that month on friggin' ISOs. But so I get a little defensive, but I do understand that I'm not perfect when it comes to ISOs. But you damn sure especially if you're punching up in the harder raids when there's a higher resistance, you need a skirmisher, especially characters applying defense.
Everything skirmisher.
No. But what I'm telling you, you need a skirmisher to apply the defense down to make sure that things stick.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And that's what you're spreading with it. Anyway, right. So the good news is I've tested the lower red stars when they first came out. They're fine.
Yeah,
they do okay for 2.3. They're absolutely fine.
Well, and not everybody's in 2.3, 2.0, 2.1.
Yeah, when you get to 2.3, they're gonna work, and that's the thing. Like people are saying, skip Punk. No, don't skip Punk.
No, don't skip Punk.
Don't skip Punk. He's a
he's also only one red star on him. I should still build him up.
It's a campaign event.
He's a campaign event.
How are you going to skip the campaign event?
I'm pretty sure that a 1.5 is going to be just fine. It's his passive is what's going to carry them.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're talking about stuff that is not in the game, and we're going to turn over to Valley's got a friend. What's your friend's name? Drew.
His name is Drew. His name is Drew, the rumor guy. Yes.
Okay, so just go. I haven't kept up with all the rumors, but there's about 3 or 4 of them that are floating out there. Why don't we go over the first one?
You want to go chronologically? What we can expect first?
Yeah, let's start chronologically then. Yeah.
All right. So the next team that's rumored to be coming is Xcaliber.
Okay.
Now that team is supposed to feature the long-awaited Gambit Rogue. Supposed to feature a rework to Psylocke. Okay. It should have Psylocke's brother Brian Braddock as Captain Britain, and the rumor is legendary Angel on that team as one of the Horsemen. And the rumor is we already have one of the Horsemen in Omega Red, and Angel's going to be the second Horseman. So that's supposedly rumors coming up in February.
Okay, so I wrote that down. So we got the Xcaliber team, Gambit Road, Psylocke, and then Psylocke's brother, and then there's going to be a legendary Angel. And then as far as the big picture with Apocalypse, Omega Red and Angel are going to be the first 2 Horsemen, right?
That is the rumors. It's at this point, it's all rumors, but the rumor guy's been pretty accurate. So
okay, and then what's the next thing that's slotted to come out?
All right, so this is one we actually talked about on your channel when I was visiting you, the West Coast Avengers. That is rumored to be coming in March-ish or so. The rumors are reworks the War Machine Hawkeye. And then as far as new characters, there's been talk of Mockingbird, Tigra, a few other characters that I can't think of right now. But West Coast Avengers would be rumored to coming in March with a bunch of different characters potentially on that team. I think Kate Bishop was also potentially. I don't think they've.
And what are they going to do? What I guess let's go back to Xcaliber. What is that Xcaliber team supposed to do? Is that supposed to be a raid team?
That is very confusing to me. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm guessing war based on
probably not a raid team because Captain Britain's not a mutant.
Yeah. Okay. And then West Coast Avengers. What is that? Everything has got to serve a purpose, right? I mean, it could be war, I suppose, right?
It doesn't seem like it's a tech team because the rumor guy was talking about another solution for tech, but I don't know. I guess war. Maybe war. Okay. Where would they go? I don't think they're going to play the Turtles this soon in Arena.
Well, I think they could probably build some different because the Turtles are just 2-piece of an arena meta. I don't think they're replacing them. I think you could build around them, right? So I think there are definitely characters that can build around them, and I think there are some things we were just talking about that one of those characters might be able to do.
Okay, and then keep going on. So we got Xcaliber team, West Coast Avengers, and then what comes after that?
There's a tech team that's being worked on right now, is the rumor. Now, I don't know when it's going to come out. They don't. The source didn't have a date on this, but it says it feels kind of like a Power Armor 2.0. Potential rework to Iron Man becoming empowered, turning into Hulkbuster. The source was very clear. This is tested right now. Also looking like they're working on modeling a few other characters. One is not a Marvel character. Soldier Zero is not a Marvel character. My source did say that they're looking to acquire the rights, but that is not a Marvel character right now. But it is a Stan Lee character, so there's some kind of tie-in. The other two characters that they mentioned was Facade and Force. None of these three characters I'm familiar with before I heard the names of these rumors. I had to go research them. So if this is a solution for tech, I would be happy just having a solution for tech. But I probably would prefer different characters that I'm more familiar with.
Okay. What do you think about all that, Rim?
Sounds pretty good. I'm definitely interested to see what happens with that. I mean, Apocalypse is probably officially coming to the game, right? That
did an announcement. 2022 Apocalypse.
That pyramid is, they didn't say Apocalypse, but you could see the pyramid, and I don't think they didn't, and the four horsemen riding out of it. They didn't. Did it not say Apocalypse? They never said it. They let us. They didn't officially say Apocalypse 2022. Right. It's just an ancient pyramid with four riders. So draw your own conclusions there.
All right, and then let's wrap up with the video. That's something that I know Valley likes. I know you like this. You like the arena meta. Talk about the arena meta right now and how that's playing out for you.
It's not Black Order versus Black Order. It's not Infinity Watch versus Infinity Watch. These matches that take a long time. There's some variety. We're in the same arena, Shard. We see slightly different teams all the time, which means I got to bring in slightly different teams on offense to counter those defensive teams, and I like that. And I like that these matches are quick. If I bring in the right team, I win, and I win quick. If I'm not paying attention, I bring in the wrong team, I'm losing quick. That's what I like the best about an arena right now. The arena meta. I think a little bit before the battles, and it's fast.
And I noticed that the power levels don't seem to matter as much too. Like you can roll in with a 700K team or a 900K team, and probably as long as you have the correct team compositions, you can win or lose, right?
Yeah, it seems like bringing the right characters, bringing the right counters to what you're facing is more important than the power level. Because some of the match, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is way big. I don't know if I'm going to win it, and they just win it just pretty much the same.
What team are you running on defense right now? Not that anything holds, but just what team are you running on defense?
Let me actually go in the game right now and check. I think I have Adam Warlock in there somewhere. Let me. It is the Cersei, Icarus, Adam Warlock, Zemo, and Emma.
Okay, so that's the standard team where you put Adam Warlock in the dead middle, and then you put the Eternals on the ends, on the far left, far right, and then you put Zemo and Emma. What do you think about the arena meta right now, Reminex? How are you feeling about it?
It's interesting. I guess one thing about it is, Krakens always want to buy the arena meta that holds, and I don't know that we've had one in a long time, right? We haven't really had that arena meta that's unbeatable.
Nothing defense holds.
Even Dormammu has a chink in their armor. If you think about the
do you have Dormammu in your shard?
No, nobody. There's 6 people with Dormammu officially right now. Yeah. I expect Pocket Dimension to bring those numbers up, and I'll probably have some summation stuff here to kind of go over. Just because I think I just want to touch on a lot of the subjects we have and kind of give some final thoughts from each of you too. Yeah. I really feel like it's definitely evolving. I like that there's 2 main characters that you can build around, and it's really kind of revitalized your roster and made you kind of look and learn about it. And I think again that's leaning towards the tower mode and the tournament that's coming out soon, and I hope it's fun. I hope that what they're doing with looking like at the Pocket Dimension tower mode, I hope they're trying to bring the fun back into the game. I encourage them to try more stuff like this and not force another RTA down our throats.
Yeah, as long as they have the ability to switch it up, keep it simple, make incremental changes, learn from what's good and what was bad. Anything? What else do you want to talk about, Rim?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to a couple of things. So we touched about Red Stars, right? So one thing I thought about Red Stars is every single rework, I didn't like the fact that they made when Red Stars were okay-ish, it was right before the rework. they had that time where when a character came out, it was in the promotion store right away. I don't understand why we don't get direct promotions like 3 weeks after. 3 weeks after,
they took that off in the last rework. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Why did they do that? That's trash.
Here we go. People don't like you when you're angry, Valley.
I'm trying to be calm.
I just we got.
Well, I mean,
yesterday.
The answer to why they did that is really simple. Is money. I mean, they just wanted, if you don't go and buy those garbage $50 offers, which is not going to help you much anyways, and then you're going to have to wait, a month or whatever. Like we just got, how long has Icarus been out? And Icarus just came to the Elite store right now.
6 weeks. So it's
6 weeks. 6 week turnaround.
What I'm saying to you is that they probably need to take a look at their, the length of time, because, some of the characters can not outlive their usefulness, but I think players just skip characters that don't get good red stars on. If one of the things that Jason Bender wanted to say was, hey, let's make sure no character skippable. Well, make sure I don't get one red star on it where I skip the whole team, and that's really where people are at right now. Yeah. And I think there, I feel like there's just this narrow vision. Red stars make us money. Don't change the formula. Well, it doesn't feel good. Most people I've seen have quit the game has literally because of red stars and/or the character release method. So red stars, I think if they shorten the time between when it was available and made direct promotions available, it would be better. Instead of having to core the shop and spend cores and have a random chance. Go ahead.
I have a follow-up question for you guys. They're doing it for their short-term profits, but do you think they're losing money in the long term because of red stars and this trash system that they have? People like, oh, I'm going to get this character. Oh, but I can't get red stars. Let me pull my red stars first and see if I'm going to buy this character. Oh, I got 1. I'm not buying this character. Oh, I got 5. Okay, I could buy this character. Do you think they're actually losing money in the long term? You mentioned people quitting, people not buying offers because of this trash system. Do you think that this is hurting their profits?
100%. I mean, but they don't see that because they just measure the profit, not the actual loss. So what's interesting, and I just kind of we'll come back to this, is I've been touting the new player experience and trying to we talk about that a lot. I'll discuss what I said in the Envoy chat. You guys know that I've been kind of an advocate for changing the character releases and what players see when they first come to the game, because it's daunting to see all these characters face a Kestrel with somebody who bought a Kestrel and not have a Kestrel of your own, and you might just hang it up if it becomes too frustrating. And I think there's no path to legendaries. There's no easy access for content creation, and when we look at our numbers as far as content creation, less than 1/5 of the community interacts with us, less than 1/5. And so there's no guidance in the game as far as what to do. And it's this big mystery about how to progress your roster. So they did that big promotion where they did they had a bunch of sponsored streams. So I stopped by and I watched all these folks dip into Marvel Strike Force for the first time. And boy, did you watch people get lost, get frustrated, get confused, do things that we may not advise, make mistakes that they were like, I don't know if I want to play this game. I mean, you saw some of these things happening. The community's like, I tried this game, this happened. I played it for a little while. Right. I didn't like it because this happened. And it was like, oh, geez. I mean, I hope they're looking at this data and saying, our new player experience isn't on target. There is something missing.
What do you think is missing? What do you think they should do?
A journey's guide, like Galaxy of Heroes has. That's really simple.
Number one, that's one of the biggest things they can do, right? Journey's guide, or even
explain that to me, because when I was playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, there was no journey's guide. So how does that work?
You want to get R2D2, you need these characters, and it shows you how to get the characters. Like, it has a whole menu. Okay. Like, if you want to get Phoenix, you need to do this. If you want to get Magneto, you need to do this, and then. They also, how they have permanent legendaries? They made most of the legendaries permanent. And so you didn't have to wait around, but at least a schedule for what's happening, when it's happening. And it was, I mean, I haven't looked at it recently, but I just know that it basically gave every player a blueprint of how to get this, how to get that, how to get this, what you need to get this. And then, it just, right now it's very convoluted, Doc Ock is what, today, right? Well, how do you know that? Other than you got a notification 5-6 days.
Or you watch Twitch or YouTube.
Yeah, you just don't know. It's just very random, very hard to predict anything, right?
And so I think that's the problem is just the new player experience. But go ahead.
So I have a question about the Star Wars experience. I don't want to keep doing that, but we were talking about this a while ago that the fragile framework of Marvel Strike Force, how it's an old system, and Star Wars, they kind of stopped releasing content for a little while to fix their framework. Do you think that is what allowed them to do that new player guide? Because that would need like a different interface in the game is what I'm visualizing in my head. Do you think that we would need to have an updated framework in Marvel Strike Force for that to be implemented, or is that something that they can do right now?
I don't know, man. I don't know the text, but it seems to me that they did the new player guide before they redid the framework. Okay. So that didn't even matter.
All right.
I mean, if you look at that little social section that we have now, they can put like a new player experience, like new player and like meta guides in there,
maybe like a link to
to either a player guide, or maybe they lean into the content creation.
They could do this on MSF.gg if they wanted to. I mean, they could.
And now that they have that, they've integrated that. Now, yeah. I expect MSF.gg to have its own little button on inside of the game, inside the little social window. I expect that they have their own little tie in there. That being said, so looking into the future, right? We're seeing all these teams like Apocalypse and all these characters coming out, and so like if you're going to project things, expect that we're going to get another war defense team, we're going to get another war offense team down the road here. We're going to get a tech raid team. We're going to get. I
hope it's just war teams.
We're going to get a tech raid team. We're going to get more characters that have trauma. We're going to get some new unique abilities. In characters that are going to make us want to get them, that are going to challenge the way that our current ideas work, and they're going to offset another team, because again, we're building towards Grand Tournament, where if you have, let's say, Gambit and Rogue, you'll have a specific counter for them outside of a war and arena. There's going to be a specific need for them when you think about like a Grand Arena. Grand Arena creates its own separate, needs and wants. So we have to, we can't just think of it in the bubble of what does it do for me now? What will it do for you in the future? And it's going to be relatively soon. That being said, the next big piece of the puzzle is, how do we know what to invest in? And it feels like, like this patch, we had Ravagers. Did you invest anything in Ravagers, either one of you?
Nope. Zero.
I built them up a little just to make them more even for Blitz, but that was about it.
Okay. They probably beat Eternals in war.
That's fine, but I'll get. It depends on how many red stars I pull on Yondu or on to Star-Lord T'Challa. Yeah. I mean, really. So, I mean, like if I go, don't. Or I have no. Back to the same point. Back to the same conversation, but like if I don't get any red stars on him, because he's kind of squishy, right? He doesn't have like insane health stats or something.
He has it in war. He gives it to his allies too. But so I mean,
mobile. Hold on, sorry. So are you saying that if you don't get good red stars on T'Challa, they're not going to make as much money off of you?
It means that I'm not going to upgrade to any of the Ravagers. It means that. I don't know if they're going to make any money. I don't think the amount of money they're going to make off of me is going to matter whether or not. I mean, I'm going to, because I'm worried about him being the next legendary requirement. I mean, I'll probably get him to a 5-star one way or another. But whether or not I bench him or play him, it solely has to do with the red stars.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say this out loud. You just hit the nail on the head. People are like, what about Web Warriors? Well, Web Warriors are actually, while they're good at 3-star, they get exceptionally better and higher red star. They're red star. They're not the red star dependent, but they get exponentially better as red stars progress on them. Higher red stars mean higher base stats, higher because they're crit and crit damage. They have the potential to do insane amounts of damage. In all aspects of the game. All of that being said, all of these characters released in the past year since Jubilee are red star dependent, even more so than anything else we've seen. Well, and again, it looks like they designed them to be functionally okay at 3-star 0 reds in some of the environments that we're in.
It's because their base stats are so crazy.
Well, that's the entire point. The red stars just doubled down on that.
Yeah.
And so, like Mobile said, is, where he lives, it's not even worth bringing up Mobile's in a top 5 alliance, right? It's not worth even bringing up if he doesn't have the red stars to go along with it, because it's just not going to do what he needs to do. So I mean, it's time for a lot of rework. So are you guys hopeful about Marvel Strike Force? Do you guys see any good positives or anything like that? Do you guys see anything hopeful?
I am. I'm actually pretty positive. I think the Red Star sucks. Here's for Hire sucks.
Are you sure?
Some of the character release events suck as far, but I think there's a lot of things that are changes, and that conversation I had with Sean Dugan, he's listening. He knows the pain. He knows Red Stars are pain. He brought up a lot of stuff before I did, so I think there's hope coming, but. Like he said, some of the stuff takes a while to change, and hopefully Red Stars is something that's getting changed soon, and hopefully they're less greedy with their.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like content's changing. It looks like content's changing, right, Mobile. So go ahead. What's your take?
My take is I'm cautiously optimistic. Everybody loves that, right? No, like first of all, here this grand tournament mode done correctly. Yeah, this grand tournament, grand arena, whatever they're going to call it. The grand arena, this grand tournament is what they're going to call it. It done correctly could be immensely fun and excellent. A lot of fun. Done wrong or getting matchmaking wrong and making it time based, it could be complete garbage. It really could be. And the thing is that I have an expectation of what it should feel like. I'm talking about feel too. What it should feel like, because I played it in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and I know how much fun it can be, and I know what it feels like to win, and I know what it feels like to lose, and I know what it feels like to be engaged, and I know what it feels like to have fun with the game mode. And so they could make it truly horrible, absolutely horrible. Or it could be the best thing ever, so I'm cautiously optimistic as far as that goes. I'm personally, I really like that they're trying new things. I really do like the idea and concept behind Avengers Tower. I do like the concept behind Pocket Dimension. I feel like both of these things solve a lot of things that the community's been asking for a long time. I think what we were looking for was, more engaging screen time, whether or not that's perceived as fun or not, but at least rather than, I don't find like Blitz or RTA engaging. I find it like a repetitious task, and I don't find the gamma raids to be engaging. Yeah, I do now. For good or bad, but the difficulty on the Doom raids makes it engaging. It's technically engaging because it's hard, right? I don't know if that's, but it's at least it's something to do that is not
hard as a puzzle. It's fun to solve puzzles.
Yeah,
right?
And it's hard, right? And I do like that. But so I think it feels like at least their intention, and they put a foot forward with this tower mode. They put a foot forward with this Pocket Dimension to do things that are more engaging. You tried, you kind of said something interesting, Rem, about, is this Pocket Dimension better or worse than Strike Pass? Well, Strike Pass is not engaging at all. Mm-hmm. It's just not.
And at the end of the day, you're probably going to get more shards than you would have gotten out of a Strike Pass. It would just be great to know if this is replacing Strike Passes, or maybe they're just. I feel like this is kind of like a grand experiment, right?
Yeah.
They're going to collect the data and see what we think about it.
Yeah, it seems like they don't even know if this is going to replace Strike Pass.
Well, I think. I'm going to say this out loud. They were usable characters for a long period of time. A lot of folks were frustrated that the legendaries didn't feel like they were this unobtainium, right? They spent money to get this character, and if you could hear from other content creators, watch some folks, you could feel it that they definitely wanted legendaries to feel more legendary, and that means that they want to make sure that people don't have the same power they have when they spend money on these things. And that's realistically, I'm okay with legendaries being kit-based characters that, just function at 5, 6, and 7 stars. I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with it if you put a little extra effort in, even though I spend that I probably get a 7-star. I'm okay with that the competitive edge isn't so drastically different that I'm just sitting there, laughing and while I'm swimming through piles of cash and power cores while you're quitting the game. That's okay. I don't want Galactic Legends to come to Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah. Well, what do you think Apocalypse is going to be? What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? What is Dormammu? Dormammu and Doom might as well be a Galactic Legends as far as
we solved them before they came out.
Yeah.
Mobile, you know that.
Yeah, I mean,
I've solved both. I mean, it's so just to be clear, Marvel Strike Force is a little bit better. I played Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. I felt like it was nearly impossible unless I spent money to get a usable character, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah, well they have a lot of really dumb mechanics in that game where like you can't take characters past a certain gear tier unless they're at 7 stars. Imagine if you got stuck at gear tier 12 until you had a 7 yellow. I mean that's a horrible
no
mechanic.
dark dimensions for a lot of people.
Well, and I think that's the thing is right. So we don't want to always compare that, but Galactic Legends are way too powerful and skew the direction in the way of the spenders. And I don't want to see that come to Marvel Strike Force. As a person who spends, I'm okay that legendaries are cool. Characters that have a lot of longevity. I mean, come on, Phoenix was like 2 years of greatness, right? I mean, usable in Dark Dimension 3, 4, and made a small resurgence here with Magic. And I think we're surprised at what she's beating on defense and on offense. So are they the best team that comes to the game? No, because that was kind of a weird situation, right? Mobile. Every team that came out was one step better than the last team that came out, and it was like, I just spent on this team. Now I got to spend on this team to beat this team. Oh, Shang-Chi came out. Now I got to fight this team. Oh, look, now this team came out. Dormammu's here. Now I got to get Dormammu. And so that escalation since Silver Surfer, Kestrel, and all these different power levels I'm glad that this patch kind of toned it down a little bit. I feel like you guys saying that you didn't go after Ravagers and it's going to depend on the red stars you get on. That's a different place than I've got to build this Weapon X team up. I've got to build this team up to overcome. I've got to do this with my roster. It feels a little bit different. Like, with you not having Magic, are you missing out on anything right now, Valley?
No.
Yeah, thanks. That's a different place than not having Kestrel.
Well, you could argue all the characters in this current patch are, you could skip them. And even the Web Warriors in the short term. In the short term, you can skip the Web Warriors.
We've changed the language. There was no such word as
we don't use skippable anymore. We use shelvable.
Yeah,
okay.
So stick this shelvable. He's shelvable because think about it. You still want to get him as close to 5 stars.
You need the gold stars, right? You need the gold stars.
You still got to get him as close to 5 stars as possible, which just seems like, since strike passes, it's been less and less likely to get him towards. Yeah, so that's something we got to take into consideration. And the last 2 legendaries were behind a strike pass, and these alternative release characters seem to be replacing the strike pass.
Silver Samurai is going to be the character.
Probably not, because he was already released another way, right? But the primary release method for the other characters were strike pass for Polaris and for Captain Sam.
Yeah, that's very different. I mean, I think they may have repurposed the strike pass just to be like a secondary way of getting character shards later down and not initial release method, which is fine. The bad thing about that is it's stretching out how long it takes to get a character completely done. Like you talked about how long it took to get Call in Black Order, right? This is, now today they probably would have thrown Call in a strike pass just to stretch it out a little bit. I don't know. But anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives you the opportunity to get a few more, get a little bit extra. And if you're close enough, maybe buy the strike pass. It gives you kind of that option. And all right, last thing is like costumes. Like, just do you guys like the costumes in the, would you buy a battle pass for a costume?
Depends on what's in the rest of the battle pass. I bought that offer for the Spider-Man, the No Way Home costume, $5. That's about
great.
what I'm willing to spend for a costume. Anything more than that, I'm like,
How about Zemo? How about Zemo's costume for all the strike? What's in the battle pass?
All right, so this is the way I figured it. You get those 500 cores. For me, that's worth $5. The Zemo costume, that's worth $5. I'm looking. Is the rest of that battle pass worth the $10 to spend? And if I'm looking at it, it is, then yes. But that's how I look at it.
Good perspective. What about you, Mobile?
I like the Zemo costume, so and I do look at it the way Valley does. Maybe my numbers are a little bit higher. Like I view the cores maybe worth $7, costume $5. There's still a lot of other stuff in that battle pass, especially like if you're starved on certain gear pieces. There's just so much gear in there that and it comes down to it's like, wow, I have no SBCs. Wow, there's a lot of SBCs in there. Teal gear. Yeah, has made it a lot better. I really wish, what feels bad about it though is purple gear. I don't know why there's purple gear inside of those battle passes. I wish it was
for
removed.
New players,
I know,
players.
But it feels bad.
They gotta make it accessible.
New Wales Mobile.
Okay, fine. So costumes are still not going to be a big motivator for me. I
have the Weapon X costume. I'm just going to say it out now. I mean, I really.
What did you spend for it?
That was like $200, right?
No. I got it right at the end of the event, and I wound up spending like $37 on it.
Okay. I thought it was more than that. I don't know.
No, it was over 100.
I mean, I was already doing a lot of the stuff required for the event. I think I was already doing like the shop. So I wound up just getting a couple extra. I think it was like $37 total. Maybe it's something else. It wasn't as outrageous as people, but that was if I was going to buy it.
You were already doing stuff, you said. So
yeah, I was already doing stuff to get the teal gear or whatever else was out there and whatever, so it was just like, I really like Weapon X because it sounds like Remin X. I think I'm gonna have this.
Okay,
please.
then.
I would like this. Remin X and Weapon X. That's pretty much like it's a thing. Yeah, so it's a thing. So I had to get it. So, and I'm gonna get the Zemo one because it looks pretty badass.
Looks cool.
Looks pretty cool.
So I mean, and if costumes that are cosmetic help them make a little money and relieve some of it, well, they'll never relieve the bottlenecks. Who be kidding? But I mean, if it does down the road, you can all thank me later for buying the Weapon X costume and breaking the dam.
You're keeping the lights on at the office. Buying that costume, Weapon X. Thank you for keeping.
The joke is though is I think there's different value in costumes. I don't know if I don't think every costume has to be free. I think if there's a paid costume and it does extend the livelihood of the value of other options and. Like Pocket Dimension, there's 150 gold promotion credits there. That's a big. There's 10, and this is the last thing where I just wanted to say is everybody's going to say, "What do you do for Dark Dimension 5?" Stop what you're doing right now. Don't equip anything. Don't equip anything, because Dark Dimension 5, your guideline is going to change based on what you get when there's 10 and 6. So you're going to get 10. Orange pieces completed and 6 teal if you do both completions of.
You're talking Pocket Dimension,
right?
Okay.
So those teal pieces
fully crafted, yeah. So at the end of the day, fully crafted teal pieces. The first time you're gonna get 3 teals, and then you go through again, so a total of 6.
Did they clarify that?
Cerebro posted on Reddit.
Yeah, okay. So it's three teals, 5 orange each completion, so a total of 6 and 10.
That's good.
Yeah. It's also good. I went on Reddit and I actually found Cerebro's post. There were like 3 of them that got upvoted. I was like, where am I? Yeah. Wait, his post got upvoted?
They haven't opened a Red Stars yet. That's why.
Okay. Well, that's a whole nother story. All right. Well, I mean, I think that pretty much wraps it up. So I think, like I said, we got some warnings of building for the future. Look for things that apply trauma. Some pretty cool rumors brought to you by Drew. You know what Drew is backwards. Word on the street is we got some new characters coming out, so let's go.
That a coincidence or not?
Anyway, so and then we got some other just some warnings as far as looking at what you're building for DD5 and take a look at what you're going to be getting from the Dark Dimension. So I think that's it for the Mobile X podcast, the crossroads of gaming here. So, Valley, man, I love you. Thank you very much. Don't quit the game over Red Stars, please.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
I'm very optimistic on this game, but Red Stars do suck.
No, I
Still.
really think. I mean, so many cool things.
Yeah. For forever,
So
for years now.
So what do we? So the next time, what do we do? Why don't we probably have you on next time, right after we do the roadmap, or when that comes out in like late January or February?
You let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll definitely see how much hope we have then.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye. I think your studio is on fire. There's a lot of smoke over there. Have you checked it out?
Smoke.